We were so close to filing the papers and getting a divorce. Everything went black. I can't catch breath, and you feel like you're gonna die and you have no ability to stop it. It was just so much all at once.
It's so much more painful than I thought it would be.
What is up, Vloggy Vlog? Welcome back to
Our channel. How come it's only our channel when I'm in the video, but then when I'm not here, Marta's always like my channel. Even though I'm always recording them, so I'm there, but...
And Randy's doing all the editing regardless.
Plus I've been like coming up with some of the ideas too.
That's true.
You guys
That's true.
What is this?
It's from Mango.
It's a booger.
Oh no. Welcome back. Randy had this idea to do a Q&A, and when he told me about doing this video, I was like, what?
We just did a Q&A.
We just did a Q&A.
I don't think so.
And then I looked at the time, and the last Q&A I did was 6 months ago.
And everything was different 6 months ago. We were living in California, hanging out on the beach. Not really, we never went to the beach.
We went a couple times.
Yeah. And now we're living in Texas. We got a baby on the way. 180-degree difference.
Absolutely. And for the next couple of months, we have another 180.
Not back to California. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows? You know, with us, you just never know, honestly, where we're going to be at what point.
And she's still going to be pregnant. Like, it's not going to be 180-degree back.
Hopefully not
it's
for
just
the next
gonna
6 months. Though.
Very different over the next couple of months. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, a lot.
We'll get into that later.
We thought it would be fun to do a little Q&A and give you guys a little update of how things are going and what has changed. I asked you guys to ask me some questions on Instagram, and you submitted a bunch of questions. So we're going to try to answer a lot of them, probably not all of them.
Definitely not all of them. There's like thousands.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here for a maximum of 30 minutes and then I'm out.
Are you on like the paycheck?
Oh yeah.
Just paying you for 30 minutes.
Yeah. 30 minutes of this, it was like 6 hours of editing, so after. I'm cutting us off.
So we're gonna do that, and probably in a month or two we're gonna do another one, because you guys are going to be aware of everything else that has changed and is going to be going on.
6 months ago, Mitzi was not a diaper cat. Isn't she cute with her little diapers?
This is not us practicing, you guys.
Now she's been having some bladder issues because she's getting old.
Unfortunately, Pitts, we don't know. We adopted her, but she's around 30.
No, more. Yeah, because we've had her for 8 years, and she was supposed to be 8 when we got her, so she
up
is
there.
up there.
Yes, but she's still very much full of life. She eats like a psychotic
She
cat.
actually eats more now than she ever has in her entire life.
But let's get into some of those questions without further ado. First question. Do you think about a name for the baby boy? The funniest thing in our gender reveal, I told you guys, we were so convinced it's a girl that we didn't even discuss or like think about baby boy names.
Yeah, I think we were really hoping that would work out, because the girl name is the only name that we could agree on. I don't know if I want to say it on camera though, because if we have a girl, we gotta save it.
I had a list of names on my notes, and if you guys are interested, we can do another video where we're gonna share our favorite boy and girl names that we're not going to be using. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see that video, because I think it would be fun to share all the names. But now that we know that the baby is on the way, none of them work.
Yeah, I have like 10 that I think are like, you know, possible.
But then we're like trying it out. So Randy will like talk to the baby and like call the names at night or like in the morning, like to the belly. And then I'm like, no, that's weird. Just like, does not work, which makes me worried because I feel so much pressure. I feel like sometimes women just know and like they come prepared, and I'm just like
we knew what the gender was.
Yeah. And I'm just like so lost and no idea. So we do have couple of favorites, but nothing that just like sticks and pops.
I think I like the one that I like.
It's a cool name.
Yeah.
But is it also like basic? We want to try something not too like crazy.
But I also don't want anything like super
basic.
Yes, not super basic, but I don't like people are going like off the deep end with some of their names, like
X or what is it?
We're not
We're not doing that.
None of that.
Nothing like, so we want something semi-traditional with maybe something that's not very common, but also not difficult for people to pronounce, because we don't want to scar this kid for life.
Yeah. Oh, because no one can say Marta.
Yes. For example, how come every time I go anywhere in America, maybe you guys can explain it to me, because to this day I can't process how when I introduce myself and I say Marta, they get Monica. I'm like, Martha would make sense, but Monica, it's like more syllables. It's a completely different name. But
It's just every single person who works at Starbucks.
not only, I just did Pilates the other week
Yeah.
and I came in and I'm like, hi, Marta, so they can check me off the list that I've checked in.
I don't know.
They're like, Monica, and I'm like, no. Anyway,
No baby names yet.
nothing set in stone, but ideas are flowing. Did you start shopping baby stuff?
Yeah, I did. Actually, before we even knew that Marta was pregnant, I had this one little jumper. But that's it. That's the only thing we have.
No, we have some stuff that the company sent.
Yeah, but that's not shopping.
That's not shopping.
One of my friends was really, really nice and sent us a nice gift package with some really cool stuff.
And our
then-
other friends got us the baby book.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our baby's first book that he's going to read.
So
which
we
I'm really
have
excited.
baby stuff, but we haven't done any baby. Well, we want to do a YouTube video coming up of like the first time shopping for the baby, but we have so much to do.
That's
We need to-
another idea. I mean, advice you guys can give us in the comments, because we don't even know where to start. What's like the most important things that we absolutely need? Leave it down in the comments
People
below.
said
First
like
time
that,
parents.
the shaking thing, whatever it is, you know, the
The
rocker.
rocker
I
thing.
don't remember what it's called.
It's like a rocking crib that like puts babies to bed.
Yeah.
You guys let me know if we need that, or if
What are like the absolute must-haves?
or like the things that like you wish you had and you regret not getting. That's also good.
Yeah, or
'cause-
for like moms that are a mom for like the second or the third times, like things they didn't have the first time that they did the second time, that'd be great.
let us know.
Let's just
we need
skip
all
to
the
the
help.
end. I need all that help.
We need all the help we can take. Have you ever suffered with anxiety or panic attacks? If yes, how you managed to stop it?
This is actually super interesting because I suffer from anxiety, but I've never had a panic attack. Well, I think maybe once, but
Not with me.
not with you. Maybe there was that one time I was in an airport and I don't know if you remember.
yeah, I mean, you
That
were
was
just very
close, But not
anxious.
like, yeah. But I have anxiety in general, like certain things. I've been in like a lot of car accidents, so I get super anxious when
Not
I'm
from
in the
his
car.
fault. He's
Yeah.
he's a good driver for
I've
the
only
baby.
been in car accidents when other people were driving, so now when I let other people drive, I have the worst anxiety. But I've never had a panic attack, and you have panic attacks, but your anxiety is not nearly as bad.
Yeah, I don't have anxiety like every day. There's moments, of course, everybody gets anxious sometimes when you have too much going on, or if there's like things are overwhelming, but not really like an everyday anxiety. But I've experienced a handful of panic attacks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's too many. And I can tell you guys, like there is a couple things that are the worst things you can experience in life. It's root canal, kidney stones, which both of those I had, and those were the two worst pains imaginable. So I know that birth is going to be up there. And panic attacks is just something that's very scary. The last time I remember very specifically because it was when our dog was passing. I've never dealt with death really in my adult life. The only time was really my grandma passing when I was like 12. So I was a kid. I barely remember any of that. Where our dog Leon was passing, obviously we're very close. He had cancer for a year and a half. It was just a very dragged out, depressing and sad process, which we knew the day was coming, and every day we're kind of like he was doing fine and then he would be a little bit declining and then fine again. So it was just this whole back and forth. And when he finally declined enough where we had to make a decision to call the vet and make the call that I don't wish to any pet owner, I did experience that was the last panic attack and everything.
You don't think there was one for Ziggy?
For Ziggy, no. Our cat passed 2 months after, and I think I was still so numb from losing Leon that it was, I was obviously extremely sad. I was crying, I was in shock, but I think Ziggy happened very fast because we went to the vet. We're laughing on the way, like we thought he's just sick, he just doesn't eat. And the vet said, no, he has cancer, he can't leave the vet place. Like we have to make that call right now. So because I think it was so fast, it didn't hit me right away.
Yeah.
and still processing Leon from 2 months ago. I think I was like so numbed out to all those very sad emotions. So with Leon, what happened is just everything went black. I can't catch breath, and you feel like you're gonna die and you have no ability to stop it. What Randy started doing is to hand me an ice cube. I think I barely remember. So Randy is the one that deals with it. It never happened when I'm alone. I know there's breathing techniques you can do. It's couple counts in, hold the breath, and out.
Or people say breathing through like a paper bag.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be helpful. The ice cube, I don't know how accurate it is. Maybe you can tell me if it actually feel like it helps. But when you're having a panic attack, if you take like a piece of ice and put it on the back of someone's neck or have them hold it in their hand, that way they can kind of center their focus onto that one spot, and it helps, release some of the other symptoms. That's what they say. I don't never had a panic attack, so I don't know. But
I think it's really hard. Again, I've experienced it with you. I remember in our Beverly Hills once that time,
maybe
and
like
maybe one other time.
Max,
so it's not often.
Years.
It's not very common. And to be honest, it's so hard to remember that moment. I just remember that everything goes black. I can't breathe, and it truly feels like you lost your whole control over your body and that you will never recover from it, and that's the end. That's how it feels. But then somehow I return into the reality, and I'm sure whatever Randy is doing on the outside is helping, because I honestly don't know if like nobody was around, what would happen. Like, would I just lose conscious completely? Like, it's so hard to say what would happen if you were like not around.
Hopefully we won't find
out, and there will be no more of that, because again, it's a very difficult, it's just an awful situation to be in, and I hope that not many of you had to experience that. Did you already decide when will be your wedding?
Good question. I did my part, so you got your ring. The one advice I can give to any of the guys, like, don't sleep on getting the ring, because then it's just on her to plan the rest. I don't have to do anything. So I'll help if once you start planning, but you got to pull the trigger on it.
You guys, again, like this year, last year and this year, it was just full of surprises for us. Last year, losing our animals and dealing with lawsuits, and then moving, and then the baby and the engagement, and the wedding was supposed to happen this year because we're actually going to be married
10 years.
10 years this year. So that was the idea Randy had, to propose for the 9th anniversary and 10-year do an actual wedding.
Some little boy came and put a stop to that.
Some little boy decided that it is not there for us to get married, but I'm actually happy.
I mean, we could do it for like 11 or 12, but I feel like if we wait till like 15 for our 15th anniversary.
Can be the ring boy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And we're not in a rush. I think we can do it anytime.
I think for us, it doesn't change anything. Like, we've been married for 10 years and we got married so early and so fast after we knew each other 2 months, which the story time is going to be somewhere here. But we kind of...
Down here. You always say up here. I think it's better down in the corner.
I don't know. Isn't like the window pops, I think, the cards, no? Up there.
No, but I'll put like a thumbnail for it.
We obviously kind of grew up together. We've been through a lot. Literally from rags to riches, but we're not riches. But we slept on the mattress, we had nothing, and we were kids when we got married. So I think throughout the 10 years, we've grown so much together that the wedding, it's just purely aesthetic. We're content
and it's for
and
everybody
photos.
else. I really want my parents to be able to experience the wedding and to fly your dad out. Our moms have met over the last 10 years, but our dads still have never met. So it'll be like the one opportunity to kind of get everybody together. But honestly, it's just like weddings are like mostly for everybody else. It's not even for you. And I feel like people say it's like for the bride and stuff, but so many brides I just see so stressed out and just destroying themselves and taking all of the fun out of it. And I just want to figure out a way to do it without any of that. Like, make it beautiful, make it great.
Yeah.
Be in a position where we have like wedding planners and we can afford to really make it as stress-free as possible and everything to be taken care of. And then you just show up and you have a great time.
The cost of the wedding is basically the cost of the house.
The cost of your wedding. the wedding you want. Not
lot of
everybody's
weddings.
weddings are that expensive.
Yes, you can make it cheap, but we of course did already the court. So like the next wedding would have to be something for the photos and videos, for memories, for like the future. It has to be beautiful, and it has to be in Italy.
No, it could be the south of France, but that's more expensive. We have to settle.
So for me, it's just very difficult to justify the costs of like the venues and the wedding where we don't even own a house right now. We're kind of renting because we still don't know where we want to be. So it just kind of doesn't make sense financially to spend that amount of money on a wedding right now. Have you ever had a miscarriage? If so, could you talk about it? I did not. And I wanted to mention, we were so lucky with this pregnancy. It just happened so fast and
without actually trying at all,
which we didn't think is going to be the case. Obviously, you always hear the stories of how women are trying to get pregnant and they struggle and they can, so you think you might be one of them. And of course, we always had that worry. And actually 5 days before we found out we're pregnant, I had a doctor's appointment and Randy was pushing me. He was like, hey, like, I think you should ask them to like freeze the eggs or like ask what the, not
get the number.
The number.
Like, why not? I think it's better to know.
Yeah.
Just to see and just to know whether or not we should be rushing or if we have more time.
Yeah. And I did ask the doctor and they said that you need to be trying for a year actively to even get any testing done.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little bit ridiculous.
I think there's other doctors that would have done it. Obviously, if you just paid out of pocket and stuff.
Absolutely. But so right after we asked that question at the doctor, literally a week or two after we found out we're pregnant. So I just wanted to say we're very grateful and very lucky that it was a very organic experience for us that kind of just happened.
My mom has had several miscarriages. Growing up, I remember a couple of them, and it was very, very sad, but my perspective of it was so different than what it is now. Because now I'm like, I don't know, like, if that happened now, you would be devastated. It would be horrible. So much more than how I looked at it when I was a kid. And I was just like, oh, well, you know, the baby wasn't really born yet. It's so much more painful than I thought it would be.
As a kid, you don't think about it. And now...
But without actually going through a pregnancy, you don't think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because now it's like your perspective is like, that would be so unbelievably difficult.
Yeah. Again, the same as with the anxiety, the same as with this. I hope not many of you got to experience that. And if you did, my heart goes to you. I can not imagine how painful it must feel, but I know that there is a space for another baby in your life. So I hope that you're going to get a chance to carry. Did you work out in your first trimester?
I did. I worked out quite a lot in my first trimester.
I did too. I did work out my whole pregnancy. I've been a very active person my whole life. And even though the first trimester was very, very hard and miserable and I was low on energy, there was almost every day I made sure to get some sort of movement in.
Yeah, even if you couldn't like walk there or you couldn't run many days, but you still went on longer walks.
I think I stopped running altogether. I wasn't able to. I think I was just mostly walking, still doing Pilates, kind of very low impact workouts as far as I remember. How is the pregnancy going and how do you feel about your pregnancy so far? The second 13-week hit, my whole life has changed for the better. Right now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm dealing with some terrible skin issues. My skin
it's not that terrible.
She got
2 pimples, and I've heard about these pimples every single day.
No. The texture, like the bags under my eyes, I have not been able to really sleep for more than
not great.
4 or 5 hours. I just wake up at 4 a.m. regardless of what time I go to bed, and I can't fall asleep at like 9 p.m. So that's been difficult now in my second trimester, and my skin, probably because of the lack of sleep and obviously the hormones and everything, has been...
And just the stress from everything that we have going on.
I think it's all together.
Yeah.
But in my first trimester, we were so close to filing the papers and getting a divorce.
I mean, you were, or?
I thought you were.
No, I mean, it was tough in the first trimester, but it definitely was not that bad. You were obviously going through a tremendous amount. The inability to function normally was very, very hard on you. Depression definitely was taking a toll, and that was hurting the environment for everybody. I don't think it put that much of a strain on our relationship. And I think you kind of feel bad because you were very mean at times to both me and your mom. But we fully understand what it is. We don't understand what you were going through. Maybe she does a lot better, but we respect the fact that you were going through something very difficult, and we don't blame you for being mean.
I don't have many regrets in life, but how I was behaving in my first trimester, which was obviously completely out of my control. I didn't plan on being mean or being difficult. I was going through so much, obviously hormonal changes, and feeling absolutely disgusted and nauseous all the time about any sort of food, and exhaustion and not being able to do things, and constant worry of the things. Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do that? And then changing states. And it was just so much all at once.
You talked about this a lot in the other blog where you're talking about the first trimester in general, but on top of feeling isolated, I feel like you were also isolating yourself, and you were just putting up these giant barriers, and you didn't want anyone to be in, or you didn't want me to be around at times. She was Googling, why do I hate my husband?
Yeah. It was a very, very strange feeling. And I said it in my other video, I'm a very touchy, feely person. I love being hugged. I love kisses, and like out of the sudden I just did not want any of that, which was very strange. And that's, I think, a good moment to mention that I just think a lot of people think that pregnancy is only a women's journey, and of course we are doing majority of the work. We're growing that human inside of us from literally the parts of our body, which is huge mentally and physically. But I think unless you are a single mom doing it all by yourself, this is also your partner's journey. Partners are also going through it, and obviously they're not feeling the same. They don't have the same experience as we do. I know it wasn't easy for Randy, for me to be difficult all the time and not being able to work and just being depressed, and him constantly like trying to come up with ways to make me feel better. It's his worries too, you know? So I think partners do deserve a little bit of more credit in this whole journey.
Or they can. Like, I don't know if it's everybody though.
True.
Because the other thing is like there's plenty of guys that don't, there's no difference. Like they find out that they got some girl pregnant and nothing changes for them. They're still going out and doing everything that they were before. But for both of us, I think that everything's changed 180 degrees. Everything down to not drinking at all anymore. But for both of us, everything we're eating changed. Like watching our diets, like I have to eat vegetables now because I can't let my kid not see me eat vegetables. But that's a huge change for me.
It is actually so cute to see. So you guys don't think I'm some like, a person that's standing with a whip. When the second we found out we're pregnant, Randy was just like, I'm doing it too, in a way. He's like, I'm not gonna drink. I'm going to get in the best shape and health of my life, which is really nice to go through it together because we both eat healthy now. We both don't drink. Like we both are very active.
This is just so funny to me because like this will be like the clip that I clip out of it. And I'll be, pregnancy's hard for everybody, okay? You have to grow a human and I have to eat vegetables.
It really is.
Yeah.
No, but it's really nice that he took the initiative to make some changes in his life that are going to be beneficial later on, that are going to hopefully inspire our child to also be a healthy individual.
I really want to take this 9 months to be as healthy as I possibly can be. And if you're not drinking, then what's the point in me drinking anyway? I'm not just going to sit at home and drink by myself.
Yeah, but the vegetables is huge for you.
Vegetables is a big deal. I've eaten more broccoli in the last couple months than I have in my entire life,
That is very true.
which is still only like 6 broccolis. But
6 florets per month. Have you seen Randy as your baby's dad right away? I think this is the
right
very
away from the beginning.
this is a very great
No
follow-up
way.
question, because I guess you guys can see what kind of a person Randy is, and you guys of course don't know Randy that well, but Randy is a very caring and gold-hearted person. He oftentimes, or not oftentimes, but most of the times, he puts other people in front of him, which is extremely frustrating to me sometimes.
Until you want something.
He's just a very good human overall. So as soon as we met, even though we didn't know each other that well during those 2 months that we were talking before we decided to get married, I immediately knew that he's a very good and caring person that is going to always take care of me. And that's how I felt our whole relationship, that regardless if shit goes down, like Randy is there to fix it. And he is a fixer. He is trying to always find solutions. So I knew that for somebody to be a dad and having the traits that Randy has is very nice to know that you have somebody that is the most supportive person on planet Earth, the most stupid and ridiculous ideas I've had in my life. Anything I come up with, he never tells me not an option. He just like tries to reason with me and like find the ways to make it happen. Randy was stupid on the outside, like meaning not stupid, like not intelligent, like just, you know, young boys having dumb ideas. Like that's
But not
what it
only like
is.
just
So
young guys. I was in the Marines at the time. It's a super alpha type of environment. Just
Yeah.
do stupid things all the time. We didn't get into trouble, but we did a lot of things that probably should have got us into a lot of trouble.
From the very beginning, Randy was treating me completely different, regardless if we were alone, just the two of us hanging out, or if we're in a group of friends, he would treat me the same exact way as he was treating me on our alone time. He wasn't pretending anything else, like in front of his buddies and stuff. And I think that was very nice to see that this is the person who actually cares and like you can really rely on. So maybe I didn't see him as a baby daddy from the beginning because we're only 19 and that was not on our mind at the time. But I think obviously we wouldn't be together for 10 years if I didn't see him as a partner for life and as a father of my kids. Pregnancy made me a mouth breather and made me
We thought you snored bad before.
made me definitely run out of breath.
You think
really
your
fast.
sleep has been bad.
Yeah. Get used to it. Are you guys planning to travel with your little boy?
Absolutely. People are like, oh, you say that now. I have friends who travel full time with kids and we're going to make it work. I want my kid to see more countries in the first 5 years of their life than I saw in the first 20 of mine, which would be like 2 countries. So that's not a lot, but I want him to go everywhere and I don't want to ever stop. Up until he has to be in school, of course, but for the first like 3-4 years, we should do as much as we possibly can.
And I think a lot of people are warning us. A lot of people, I think, in America also don't travel, or it's not as common as Europeans because we have countries so close by that it's so easy to travel. It's very difficult.
Don't travel internationally.
Don't travel internationally because it's difficult. So I think a lot of that advice comes from people from here who have not traveled maybe as much as we do. And we don't doubt it's different. And we don't doubt it's harder. Like we are fully on board with that and we fully understand, but we are not going to let that stop.
And also, you guys have to remember that we don't do it for fun. Like we love traveling, but we do it for work. When someone's paying us to go somewhere and they're covering the flights and they're covering the hotel and all we have to worry about is packing the diaper bag and it's part of our job, it kind of makes it a lot easier. We're not in the same position as everybody else. Everything that you see where we're traveling, it's always associated with work in some way. When we go to Europe, we always book a job that sends us to Europe. And maybe we stay there for an extra couple weeks or something like that. It's always centered around making money in some way. I think that's what really sets us apart. It's not like we're taking vacations every other week. It's just, part of our job.
Kids are sponges and they will take whatever you teach them. And if you teach them from the early ages, somebody, I can't remember who, but gave me a very nice advice, which I don't know how to put it in words right now, but that you should not change your lives to your kids' life until obviously they go to school. But when they're little and newborns, like, you should adjust your kids' lifestyle to your lifestyle. Maybe it's gonna come off the wrong way, but what I'm trying to say, they said, like, if you love going shopping and cafes and going out for dinner, like, take your kids with you. Like, they will adapt, they will learn how to behave in a restaurant. Like, you don't have to just sit at home and get takeout just because you had a baby, you know? I think it's important to continue living your life so you're the happy and fulfilled parents that don't feel like they're imprisoned in their house just because they have a baby.
Yeah. And I imagine that has to build some type of resentment also towards your kids if you put yourself in the position to where you are not doing all of these things you love for them.
And I don't mean to come off ignorant, because obviously we don't have kids and maybe our opinions are going to change, but I did babysat for 6 years and I saw different types of parenting styles, and the parents that did not let the kids stop them living their lives, and like they had the lives, were the happier parents than the parents who kind of lived on that autopilot, just every day the same, coming from work, sitting at with kids, not ever leaving the house. Parenting is an extremely difficult job, and I know that we're gonna have a lot of changes in our lives, and I don't doubt it, but I think we're going to try our best to keep our individuality in it and not only become our baby boys' parents, but still be Marta, Randy, and mom and dad to our baby.
And on top of that, I would just like to say that out of everything that we've accomplished in our lives, the most important thing, or the thing that I'm most proud of if I was to die today, is being able to experience as many places and cultures as I have been able to experience.
I just think those are the most important life lessons. I think when you go to the places that we got to travel to, like our last trip to Uganda, for example, or even the rural parts of Bali that we visited. I'm not talking about Canggu, the tourist areas. We went to the areas where they don't have bathrooms, they don't have electricity, and that's how they live. And they're one of the happiest people we've seen traveling. And I think there is nothing that teaches you about life or about the world in general. Like, there's no amount of school that's going to teach you all of that. So I think that's why it's also important for our kids to go and experience that and see how lucky we are that we were born where we were born and how other people around the world live.
Also, with that being said, we're not bringing our kid to Uganda. Not until he's like a teenager.
It was a pretty wild trip.
There's a lot of places that we've been around the world where I'm not going to take my kids.
Definitely, we're going to be more selective to where we go and how we plan our
But Euro
trips.
summer with the baby, for sure.
Definitely. Where are you thinking of moving to next? East Coast?
Changes every day.
That's going to be the topic of our next couple of videos where we're trying to solve that problem. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I kind of want to go check out South Carolina.
Everybody says very nice things. Let us know if we should go check it out.
Where should we move? Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Help
Please.
us figure our life out. Will you teach your child Polish, speak in Polish language? Absolutely. Unfortunately, I know it's going to hurt some of my Polish people up here. Polish is obviously quite an unuseful language, let's be completely honest. But because my whole family is Polish, my whole family is in Poland, my kid is absolutely going to learn Polish. My mom is going to be helping a lot once the baby is here. So of course the boy is going to have a lot of Polish influence from my mom, and then I'm going to try to teach him as much as possible. We're not planning on moving to Poland, but I think it's always sad when the parents are foreign and they don't teach their kids the language. Again, kids are sponges and they will just take in the language really fast. So I think it's important and it's cool. Like, they go to school and be like, I speak Polish, and people are like, oh, it's in Russia, right?
If they go to school here, they will.
That's what they do in America. But no, Poland is not in Russia. It's a separate country, okay? How difficult is it to find healthy products in the US? Sugar almost everywhere.
It's very, very easy to find healthy products in the United States, but it's not the issue. The issue is how expensive it is to get healthy products. A lot of people just think there's this enormous obesity problem because everyone is too dumb to eat healthy food. But the truth is that most people just can't afford it. It's so expensive to eat healthy in this country. It's crazy. There is a massive lack of education also. A lot of people don't pay enough attention to what they're putting into their body for sure, but more so than anything, it's just outrageous to buy these organic and actually healthy products.
Partially, I think it's true, but partially it is absolutely true that there is secret sugar added almost everywhere that people are not aware of. And when you start reading the labels, even the things that should not have sugar, pickles, for example, there should not be sugar in pickles. A lot of them, they do have that. They have coloring that I'm not sure why you need coloring in pickles. Even bread, basic bread has sugar added, like
Right,
basic
but the
yogurts.
question is can you find the healthy stuff? And
yes,
every single store that has all of those things, they sell the healthy stuff too.
They do, but again, like people not being educated, grabbing a sourdough bread, for example, that has an ingredient list that's 50 pages long, you know, they think they're eating healthy bread, or grabbing a yogurt that they think it's healthy. But again, the list of ingredients is coloring and gelatin and all the gums that they put in it, and all sorts of things that shouldn't be there. So I think it is much more difficult than in other countries, because you have to be hyper aware of what you're getting and actually read the labels. So I think it is harder. It is not impossible. I just think you need to know how to shop.
Yeah, I think America just allows so much bad things that European countries just don't allow in their country. It's something that this country needs to definitely work on, but we have access to very, very good food. It's just you need to know what to look for.
How old were you when you moved out from Poland? And is there a chance for your story? I'm trying to think if there is my story somewhere on YouTube already that we can link. But just to give you like I don't think
your story of how you came here?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't even know, it's probably a good sign you need to make another video.
Possibly. Just to give you a quick little breathing. I was 19 at the time. I did international diploma in high school. I applied to medical school, but didn't get in because I had some health issues in the third grade of high school. So I didn't score on my exams as well as I was supposed to. So I redid my exams. And while I was waiting for the results, I decided to take a gap year and go to United States. And I came here as an au pair, basically lived with a family for a year. It was like a cultural student exchange type of thing. You live with a family abroad, you go to school and you take care of their kids in exchange for being able to stay here for a year. And during that year, I met Randy, we got married, and that's how I'm here.
You got into medical school during that year?
I found out I got into medical school when we decided to get married. So. Yeah.
And then she married me instead of becoming a doctor.
I would be a terrible doctor. I keep saying that. I think I had that idea of becoming a doctor just because it was something like wow and prestigious, but realizing all my personality traits and how sensitive I am and how messy I am, I would not be a good doctor at all. I would like take somebody's, intestine instead of a liver, or you just...
Yeah, well, keep doing what you're doing.
I will just stick to what I'm doing. I would not be a good doctor. I'm too sensitive and I will just bring all the problems home. And, you have to have a certain type of personality to be a good doctor for sure. And you need to be mentally very, very strong.
Yeah.
That was way longer than your 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know. So much editing. Just to scrub through it's like an hour by itself, and all the edits you got to do. Editing is a lot of work.
Yes, especially your edits are pretty good.
So could you please just like and subscribe so it can all be worth it for me?
For you. That's your payment for sitting here for so long. But thank you guys for joining us for this little chitty chat. I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of those. As I said, in the next couple of videos, we're going to be talking about yet
major changes. They're almost comical at this point. It's almost ridiculously funny, what we're putting ourselves through.
I hope you guys laugh. There's just a lot of going on. So if you guys want to keep up to date with us and see what's going on, then comment and subscribe. And
we'll see you guys in the next one.